Okay, looks like the video's ready. And publish. Huh. Okay. Well, that's the last news video I'll do in a while. They probably won't release anything for a few weeks.
A few moments later.
Well, looks like that video is pretty outdated now. On with the video. So, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall are both leaving Doctor Who in 2022. And yeah, that happened yesterday. A lot of YouTubers got their videos out very quickly. Ace Creeper, Confused After Pose, Canceller Geeks, all got their videos out relatively quickly. I didn't manage to get my video out quickly because I have barely started YouTube. My mic was broken, so I ordered a new one. This is its debut. It's lovely. I really like the look of it. Yeah, I filmed on my phone and I couldn't transfer it to my laptop for some reason. So I'm filming this for the second time a day later, which I think is better because I've had some time to think about it, collect my thoughts. But yesterday I was kind of in a frenzy, just kind of really excited by the news, which can kind of tell you a bit about my thoughts on the news. But anyway, let's get on with talking in depth about it. I think I'm going to start off with the more kind of negative sides of it. And I feel that most people would agree the negative side is Jodie leaving. So yeah, in the announcement, they said that it's not an 8-episode series. We thought we'd get 8 episodes in 2021. We're not. We're getting 6, which is a real bummer. And again, they weren't clear about that on Sunday. Sunday really now just kind of looked like a waste. They released the trailer and released a guest star and then kind of talked about how much fun they were having. Great, but it seems like you had all this news packed up. That'd have been amazing to release on the stage to do it, and they didn't. But yeah, we're getting 6 episodes. We're going to get 2 specials next year, a New Year's and a spring one, and then a feature-length special to kind of give her farewell regeneration episode to celebrate the BBC centenary, as it's 100 years of the BBC, I think. That makes sense. So yeah, she's getting 9 more episodes and then she's gone. And that would leave her on 31 episodes. Yeah, which means she would be the second shortest run of episodes of a new Who Doctor. Yeah, obviously Christopher Eccleston holds that record as he only did 1 series. But it's weird because the amount of time she's been in the role is close to like Tennant in terms of how long she's had the role. I think she might end up being the longest in the role from the day she was announced to the day she left. But really not that many episodes to compact it, which is disappointing. It does kind of shock me how the show's changed and how many episodes it's managing to get out a year. Like Doctor Who was managing 12 episodes and a Christmas special in the Moff era, quite a lot under the Capaldi era. And it had 1 year break in there, but it did Series 8 and Series 9 back to back, and then took a year off, and then did Series 10. And I was fine with that. With the RTD era, it was 13 episodes, 13 episodes, 13 episodes, and a special in between each one of them. And then after the 4 series, they went, right, we'll just have a year of specials. David doing some stuff with at the theatre, he's doing some Shakespeare. Rossi Davies wants to have a little break to focus on planning for his final year to make sure it's good. And I was in 4 specials, fine. That all made sense. Every now and then, take a break. But it's the fact that now it's like, no, the series is getting reduced and we're getting big breaks in between the series. It's really annoying. This time it's COVID, but I really do hope with a new team, it maybe changes. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the BBC might intervene and keep it the way it is. Maybe the BBC is the reason it got reduced to 10 episodes. We don't really know, but that's just one thing. But yeah, Jodie leaving, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer because I'm not really too sure if I like her as the Doctor, really. I don't hate her. You can't really hate her character. There's nothing really to hate. She's just there, and she's not done enough for me to make me feel like she's the Doctor, really. And I don't think that all the blame is on her. I think the majority of the blame is on Chris Chibnall, who I'm really not fond of as a head writer for the show. Really, I'm really not. Obviously, Stephen Moffat didn't have his fans, but as much as there were times when I was thinking, "Oh God, I don't like this from you, Moffat," I enjoyed his era. I found it entertaining, and I watched every week, and I enjoyed the show from the 11th hour all the way to Twice Upon a Time. I enjoyed his era. I like both his Doctors. I like some of the series arcs. I don't like all of them, but I like some of them. Chibnall, I do not like Series 11. It's easily one of my least favourite series of Doctor Who. Series 12, I think it's better, but it's still, when you look at it, kind of takes some ideas from Doctor Who and doesn't do them as good as they were originally done, and also has the Timeless Children, which I really don't like. So yeah, Chibnall, not the biggest fan, but Jodie, it's sad to let her go. You can't help but say that. Her leaving. The only hope is that maybe she'll come back eventually. I think if there's going to be a 60th, she won't come back because it's the year after she leaves. So yeah, it'll be like Tom Baker didn't come back for the 20th, and he'd been gone, I think, 2 years. So it'd be unrealistic for her to come back after one. So yeah, she might do Big Finish eventually. It does make me think of Colin Baker, because Colin Baker really was unfairly treated and wasn't given a fair crack at the whip by Doctor Who at the time, because obviously the BBC kind of wanted to cancel the show, treated the show badly. I think Eric Sayward didn't agree with John Nathan Turner's management of the series, and it all messed up everything. Michael Gravey obviously got involved and sacked Colin Baker, and he didn't really get to be the Doctor that he wanted to be. And Big Finish gave him another chance. Maybe Jodie Whittaker will get that chance eventually, but that's a long way away, because she's got a whole acting career ahead of her where she might not even think about doing audio adventures. But, who's to say that can happen? But yeah, Jodie, to conclude on Jodie, it is, a bit of a sad thing that she's kind of leaving after 31 episodes. Hopefully in Series 13 and in the specials we kind of finally see the Doctor we wanted to see. But I don't think we will. But yeah, that's all I can say about Jodie. So with Chibnall, I've already spoken a little bit about Chibnall, but to say I was excited when I found out he was leaving, oh my word, I thought it's Christmas come early. That's exactly what my thoughts were. I mean, yesterday, the way I found out, funny enough, I was in a very Doctor Who mood. If you've ever heard of it, I was listening to Exhausted Suppliers on YouTube. I think it's done by a man called Luke Oliver, and you've got great voice acting from Jonathan Carley and Pete Walsh playing the 12th and 9th Doctors respectively. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic fan-made audio adventure, and I was doing some gardening while listening to that, and it was great. And I finished it. It's the second time I've listened to it before, and I got back in and saw Dr. Humour were doing a live stream, and I was like, oh, bit of a weird time to do it on a Thursday. I'll see what they're doing. And all I hear is a header saying, oh, I feel sad for Jodie, but Chibnall's gone, yeah. And I'm like, what? So I turned it off, went BBC News and went, oh my God. I was so excited, because I think a lot of us thought Jodie would leave. All these rumours can't be for nothing. I think there was rumours of her leaving after Series 11. There was rumours of her leaving at the end of Series 12. And that was just, for me, that was people being hopeful who didn't like the era. But when they came right after a Revolution of the Daleks, they didn't stop. And they were coming from papers. They weren't coming from all these rubbish articles. And they kept coming to the point where people were talking about who the next Doctor would be in the paper. It was more than just a random rumour now. And we all kind of expected, yeah, I think she is going. And then because we all thought 3 series now, it makes sense. It's the common theme of what Doctors do. So yeah, but Chibnall leaving is the real shock, because 31 episodes. He will have a 31 episode era, which isn't really that much. If you think about it, Russell T Davies had 2 Doctors, and he had 4 series and a bunch of specials. Moffat, how many series did he do? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he did 6 series, and the odd and a few specials here and there. He did a few Christmas. He got the 50th. He did a lot of episodes, and Chibnall's got 1 Doctor and out, and he has come out and said that him and Jodie made a pact. It was a 3 series and out pact when they first started. So yeah, that's what they're going with. It does make you question the whole 5-year plan that people talked about. that Chibnall supposedly had. I mean, I watched Council of Geeks video, and she was saying that apparently, after doing a little bit of research, she couldn't find any evidence that Chibnall ever said it. It had been quoted by people who knew Chibnall, but never by Chibnall himself in any article, which is interesting. At the end of the day, if you think about it, it's 5 years. He signed on and probably started writing in 2017, 2022. Obviously, it's not gone completely to plan because of COVID, but still, it's been 5 years. It wasn't necessarily a 5-series plan. So, maybe it was always a 3-series plan and a 5-year plan, all wrapped into one. But yeah, Chibnall leaving, it's fantastic. It's amazing news. I'm really excited to see what direction the show can go in when he leaves, because I'd really like to see a fresh take on the show. You know, something which takes on what the show has been and tries to get excitement into the fans at what the show can become. You know, I'd like to see Doctor Who become popular again, but at the same time, I'd like to see it do it in a different way. I'd like it to go into it and try new things and challenge the viewer and experiment. This era, for me, all it experimented with is the gender of the character. And a lot of people complain about this current era being PC. And, it's political correctness gone mad. And it's all woke. And to those people, I think, you don't watch do you understand Doctor Who? Because that's not the issue. Some issue with it, one of the issues with it is politically related. But it's not that it's overly political. It's not that it's too woke. It's that it's slapped on. It's basic. It's not woven into the plot. There's no real message there. It's not got that much to say about these things. It's not got much to challenge them. I mean, Kablam. That is a great example. You know, you'd think that would be a really good opportunity to make like a modern episode. You know, tackling the idea of corporations like Amazon. You know, that's a great opportunity. And instead they have a go at the person. You're getting messages mixed up. It's tacked on the surface political, statements without having any heart to it. That's what I'd like to say about that. And Doctor Who can make political statements. Have you seen Oxygen recently? That's an amazing episode, and it's literally just like, screw capitalism, but it's an amazing episode. But that is what the episode is. If you don't see that that's politically motivated, what have you been watching? The Doctor literally just goes, this is the end goal of capitalism. You're paying for oxygen. It's a great episode. Russell Davies wasn't afraid of it. You got the Slovene two-parter in Series 1 is attacking the Blair Bush era. It's based on the War on Terror. But, oh no, the issue is Chibnall's not doing it well enough. That was the issue. And I think, this series should... I think this series will be one of his best, or his best, is what I'd rather like to say, because it's one story and it goes into his strengths, going back to Broadchurch. So a whole series arc. Obviously, they'll not all be the same story. I don't think they will be, because we know the Centaurans and the Weeping Angels are in it, and I don't know how that's all going to weave into one 6-parter. I think what it's more likely to be is 6 episodes which delve into one another in one long adventure, but separate little stories along the way, which piece together to create one thing. Very similar to The Key to Time. The Pirate Planet is not part of, the Androids of Tara, but it's part of the Key to Time arc, because in each episode they're finding one of the sections of the Key to Time. So it all connects in a 1 6-parter, similarly to this one. So, yeah. Chibnall leaving is definitely, I think, good news. I think most fans will probably be quite pleased that he's going. I definitely am. Because I think most people would agree he's the main reason why this series hasn't been as popular as before. I have no real issue with a female Doctor. I did originally when she was first cast, but I eventually just kind of got with it and thought, you know what, a new Doctor, I'm always excited when a new Doctor comes along. And she hasn't really fulfilled what I thought she would have done. But, there's going to be a new Doctor come along, whoever she is or he is. I wish them the best luck, and I can't wait for them to be announced, because as a Doctor Who fan, this is the most exciting time that we have, is when we're in that kind of abyss, the void between series, or between eras, where you don't know where the show's going to go, and that's so exciting. You know, are we going to get a new title sequence? Are we going to get a new TARDIS set? Is the theme tune going to change? You know, I think Second Lieutenant will probably stay. To be honest, it seems a bit odd if he'd leave. He probably didn't do a 3 series in that pact with Chibnall, but yeah, really excited. Chibnall's going, fantastic. But now we're going to need to talk about who could come in as their replacements. So, firstly, let's talk about who could replace Jodie, because that's the one which all the tabloids will be interested in. That's what, you know, a more general audience and the broader people who read newspapers will see and be interested in. Who's going to play the new Doctor? And you always get names chucked around which are too big or, you know, really out there, which probably doesn't suit the show. Like Michaela Cole gets linked, and I'm like, no way. She's way too big for it. She's already agreed. She's in the new Black Panther film, I'm pretty sure. So, no, 100% not happening. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, no. Similar reasons. You know, she's, again, too big. She's, you know, she's involved in writing. She's not just an actress. And the idea of signing away a few years of her life to just acting and not getting some writing done, you know, Doctor Who is a show where you need some commitment. And when you have as much talent as she does, and as many offers as she does, as many lucrative offers as she'll have, it generally makes no sense for her to say yes to a show like Doctor Who. So, no, that won't happen. And then you've got the ideas of people like Richard Ayoade getting the role. Again, no, I really don't think it. People obviously think he has that weird science geeky kind of vibe, obviously, because he plays Moss in the IT Crowd. But does that mean he's going to be Doctor Who? No, he shouldn't be Doctor Who. I'll just apologise. I called the Doctor Who. Don't ever go at me. I'll call him the Doctor from now on. Sorry. But yeah, Richard Ayoade's a no from me. And then you've got Chris Marshall, who obviously got linked to the role when Jodie got it. I don't know. I've got no real clue. But to be honest, if I'm going to be honest, I think the new Doctor will be a woman. And I mentioned this issue to some people when Jodie got first cast. Or during Series 11, I thought about this issue. Because I realised when they cast the next Doctor, you've got all this toxicity in the fandom. You've got people who are, you know, attacking the Not My Doctors, and the Not My Doctors attacking them. You know, it's a war of two sides. It seems like of two sections, and the rest of us are just kind of watching it implode. You know, these people who are going, no, female doctors shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be female doctors. Da, 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 da. And if the next Doctor was cast and was a man, they would all go, ha ha ha. The BBC have just kind of ruined this. That they've admitted this era was a mistake. That's what would happen. So I feel like they're kind of forced into a point where the next Doctor should be a woman. Just to kind of settle down and go, no, this is the norm now. The norm is now the Doctor can't be anyone. They need to cement it down, say it can be a man or a woman from now on. And that makes sense. That makes perfect sense from their point of view. Because it shuts up the toxic, you know, sexist Not My Doctors. Because there's many things to pick out of this era that are wrong. The fact that the Doctor has a pair of breasts is not one of the many issues I'd say right now. I'd say, you know, the writing. I'd say the plots. Some of the dialogue is a bit wonky. The fact that the Doctor's a woman is not something which comes to mind with an issue of this era. But yeah, the next Doctor probably should be a woman because it just makes perfect sense. As to when we'll get that announcement, I'm really not sure. I've got ideas of it because usually the Doctor gets announced after their final. The Doctor announces they're leaving after a series. That didn't happen with Tennant because it kind of got leaked and their hand was forced because they tried to make it a surprise. And Tennant was announced the new Doctor mid-series because Eccleston announced he was leaving mid-series, so it happened in the space of weeks. Smith was announced at the end of Series 4. Oh, no, in January 2009. Capaldi announced he was leaving before Series 10, though. Yeah, he's the outlier. I just realised I skipped Smith. He announced he was leaving after Series 7, before Day of the Doctor. And just like 2 months later, Capaldi was announced. Which was really interesting. But obviously there wasn't a lot of time left until he was finished. He was finishing at Christmas. They wanted to get it over with. And also they needed to do that because Capaldi had a cameo in Day of the Doctor. But since they've announced she's leaving, and you've still got Series 13, I feel like they're going to let that series play out. Because you don't want to detract from her final run, because this is a run of episodes. After that, it's one-off specials. So I feel like they're going to let those 6 episodes go by, and we'll maybe get an announcement when that series is finished, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that series is done, as we don't really know the complete dates of when it's going to air, so maybe November, December, we will get an announcement on who the new Doctor will be. And that's something to look forward to. But yeah, as I said, we don't know when this series is going to air, so I can't give you a rough idea. But Christmas time, yeah, I'd say by New Year's Day, by the time the first of the 3 specials comes out, we will know who the new Doctor is. I'm definitely putting that out there. As to who will be the new showrunner, that's a really interesting one, because, you know, it's not one that the tabloids will be excited about. It's not something which the general audience will be excited about. But the real fans, the real people who watch Doctor Who more than any other person, that's the one that we're excited about, because that really dictates how the show will be. This person is, you know, the person who we look at and will, you know, kind of blame or praise as for the show being bad or good. They're the person who we point to. And I've heard people talk about Neil Gaiman. No, that's not going to happen. He's got Good Omens 2 to be doing with David Tennant and Michael Sheen, so no. Oh, another reason why people talk about... Some people mention Michael Sheen to be the Doctor. No, he's got Good Omens 2 to be doing. It won't happen. Someone, I think Ace Creeper mentioned Charlie Brooker. That's a lovely idea. You know, it's a real... I don't think he said it will happen. He said that's who he'd want. Yeah, that would be amazing, but it probably won't happen. But the names I hear chucked around, one of them is Toby Whithouse. That's someone who I'd love, because I really like a lot of his episodes. He wrote Before the Flood, Under Lake and Before the Flood. He also wrote School Reunion and God Complex and a few others. But yeah, I quite like his work. I quite like his work with Doctor Who. Most of his episodes are episodes which I would go back and rewatch. So yeah, and I feel like he has a good understanding. Jamie Matheson is someone who I've also heard mentioned. I think he wrote Oxygen, which, as I've already mentioned this video, great story, great episode, which has political motivations, but it's woven very well into the plot, and it has, you know, it's quite a good episode, because it's experimenting the idea of how far could capitalism go in the future, and it's, you know, I think a quite good idea for a story. You know, if something like that happened in the current era, it would have been amazing. Or done poorly, you know, compared to how it was done in Series 10. I'm not too sure about other names. Obviously, there's the idea that we could have someone who's never written for Doctor Who before, which I'm not too sure about. I don't think we should restrict ourselves to just Who writers, because I think that might be how we thought about Chris Chibnall, because we thought along the lines of experience as a showrunner, and also they've written for Doctor Who before and have a knowledge of Doctor Who. Chibnall is clearly a Doctor Who fan. He has written for the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor, and he never wrote for the 12th. And also, he was a showrunner for Broadchurch, which was quite successful. So clearly, he looked like a good shout to be the showrunner. He looked like a good idea at the time, and it's not worked out that way. However, Toby Whithouse, he has showrunner experience. I only found out recently he was the showrunner for Being Human. I've never watched it, but I've heard things about it, and I kind of do want to watch it. It's got Russell Tovey in it, so it probably is quite good. And I like all his episodes for Doctor Who, whereas Chibnall, on the other hand, I never really liked a lot of his stories for Doctor Who. I think the only one I really liked was the Solarian 2-parter in Series 5. But yeah, the idea of getting someone from outside Doctor Who isn't that poor an idea. I think it would be alright. As long as they're a fairly experienced writer, you know, have a good track record, and, you know, are willing to experiment with this series and do something with it. I don't want someone like Chibnall to come in and go, oh, I've got these fan ideas from the 80s and I just want to experiment and chuck around canon. Because that's what he did, really. That's what he's done, and what he's doing is what he's going to finish in Series 13. We've got to let him, but it seems like that's what he came in for, especially with his 3 series now kind of plan. But yeah, the idea of someone coming in without Doctor Who experience, but you know, with a good plan, a good structure, someone who really can create a story and plots which will really intrigue the viewer and challenge the viewer, that's something which I'm excited about. When you think about it, Russell T Davies, of course, he had written for Doctor Who, kind of, because he'd done some Virgin New Adventures, but everything he'd written for TV wasn't Doctor Who. And everything he's done since Doctor Who isn't like Doctor Who. It's a Sin is not that similar to Doctor Who. The only similarity is there's a Doctor Who kind of reference in it, which is cute and lovely, because he loves Doctor Who. But everything other than Doctor Who that he's done is very, some of it's romance-based. He's obviously done Queer as Folk, and It's a Sin, and, oh God, I forgot. I was about to say another series, and I forgot its name. But, none of it's like Doctor Who, and then he did Doctor Who, and it was fantastic. So if it's just someone who likes Doctor Who, but has never written for it, that would be pretty cool. Or if they're just a very talented writer and see the potential of this series. I think we should find out who the next showrunner is relatively quickly. I think that will happen before the new Doctor, because obviously whoever is the showrunner will pick this Doctor. They all have the choice of who replaces Jodie Whittaker. And also they've said that they are filming her final moments in the next few weeks, which means a regeneration scene is probably coming up soon. Now, obviously, they don't need to film her and the new Doctor at the same time. They don't, because Christopher Eccleston filmed his half of the regeneration scene, and Tennant filmed his about a month later, because everything wasn't quite done yet. So that doesn't definitively mean they've got the Doctor ready. But I think they probably do, because the nature of Christopher Eccleston's exit was quite a shock. I feel like it's if Chibnall was always a 3 series and out guy, then I feel like someone should be in place already. They just didn't. They just wanted to let the news breathe for a little bit, and then they'll release a statement soon. Just because they know doesn't mean we need to know who their replacements are. We can wait a little bit, but I feel like we'll get an announcement on the showrunner relatively soon. Because if they're filming her final moments, that new showrunner probably should have a say on how the era ends, because it can lead into their story. With Moffat, he wanted End of Time to finish on the TARDIS crashing, so it can crash into Amy Pond's garden. Chibnall wanted this Twice Upon a Time to finish on the TARDIS crashing and the Doctor losing the TARDIS. That's what he wanted to lead into A Woman Who Fell to Earth. So this showrunner should probably be around right now. They should probably be picked and be advising on what, or suggesting how they want this era to finish. But what they've said, they have talked about it, suggesting it hasn't been picked yet, which is a bit worrying. As Chibnall was like, we don't know who it is, but we wish our future successors all the luck in the world, and all statements such as that. They've talked about it as if the BBC are the ones picking it, not the showrunners kind of nudging the BBC in the way of who they should pick, which has been the way it's been done in the past. I feel like Russell T Davies picked Moffat. Moffat kind of was discussing with Chibnall and met with Chibnall and gave it to Chibnall. Whereas now the BBC are kind of taking the reins from them and going, no, we're going to pick someone. Which is interesting. It's kind of suggests the way this era has gone and been popular with fans, or unpopular with fans. But yeah, it is a really exciting time for Doctor Who fans. I always find this time exciting. It's great. You're waiting for the new era to emerge, and it's really fun. This has kind of impacted my hype for Series 13, as ever since the Comic-Con panel on Sunday, I was slowly but surely getting a little bit excited about it. I was thinking, do you know what? A whole series, one story, that's quite a good idea. Maybe this will be good. It might be Jodie's last hurrah, who knows? This will be good. But now this news has come out, and I know Chibnall's leaving, I don't actually care about this series anymore. Because I'm now thinking, this era is finally going to be over. We can look forward. So, do you know what, Chibnall? Do what you want with this series. Let's see if you can finally knock it out of the park. Because if he makes a good series, great. If he doesn't, fine. We can move on. That's my mindset now. But yeah. So to conclude, I'm sad about Jodie leaving. Chibnall leaving is amazing news. It's some of the best news I've received recently about Doctor Who. The replacements, I'm not too sure about. I think we'll get a showrunner news very soon. But Jodie's replacement will probably get around Christmas. That's what I'd probably predict. Maybe before the New Year special, or maybe a little bit after. But definitely before the spring special. 100%. Before that spring special, by the time that rolls around, we will know who the new Doctor is. I guarantee that. But yeah, God, it's a lot of news. It's a great time to be a Doctor Who fan. I mean, Doctor Who was trending number 2 on Twitter, I think, yesterday. So yeah, whew. I can finally settle down now. So yeah, I've been the Bored Whovian, and I'll see you around.